Hi, Mr. Bennett.
Okay. Everyone say hello to Mr. Bennett in the camera.
Hi, Mr. Bennett.
Alright guys, so like I said, today we are starting our new unit, the Great Depression. 1929 to 1941. As you can tell, it's not a happy time, hence the word depression. Does anyone have any background knowledge on the Great Depression? Anything they could add, talk to me about? What is it?
Is it a 19?
Yes, ma'am.
So I remember I was on YouTube once and I saw this Great Depression cooking video.
Great Depression cooking video. Just by curiosity, what were they cooking?
I think it was pasta in a microwave, which I've done before.
Okay, well, they didn't have microwaves during the Great Depression, so I would say that that video is false. Yes,
Was it the collapse of the economy?
it was a collapse of the economy. Can anyone tell me, we are going to learn this, but can anyone tell me what factors of the economy collapsed? Like what? Yes, gentlemen, one at a time. Dubois, you go first.
The U.S. was loaning a lot of money.
The U.S. was loaning a lot of money. To who, per se?
Great Britain and France, I think.
CCC.
What about the stock market?
The stock market did crash too. Do you know why? What things transpired?
Were people taking out too many loans and not paying them back or something?
That's kind of what happened in 2008, and we're gonna talk about 2008 as well. I know most of you guys were what in 2008, 8 years old.
Yeah. I was
three. Oh, 3 years old. Hold up, 2008 was 13 years. Oh my God, I can do math. Okay, you're right. You're right. So yeah, you guys were aware that we had something similar, not to the Great Depression, but a giant crash in 2008 because of the housing market, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna do a little compare and contrast in that in a little bit. Yes, ladies.
Wasn't it like they were trying to drop the value on things and people were buying them as fast as
Yeah, we mass produce stuff. You'll see. Basically, the core problem was we were mass producing things and then we had too much, which what is the word begins with an I when you have too much stuff and they jack up the prices?
Inflation.
Inflation, correct. We get a ding for that. So let's go. So the economy was in severe decline and millions of Americans were out of work and or homeless. Anyone ever seen or read the book or seen the movie The Grapes of Wrath?
No.
Okay, it's really boring. But it's very
Great, so I won't watch it.
well, we may actually stumble upon that here. Alright, Ms. Coffey, can you start us off? Causes of the Depression.
The stock market crash signaled the beginning of the Great Depression.
Hold on right there, hold on. I forgot to tell you. You may, maybe not may is not the right word. You should, it would be wise, to take notes on these first 15 slides because we're going to be doing something afterwards on them. In which, if you don't want to hunt in that book, those pages going, rah, 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 I don't know where this answer is. I would suggest taking a picture of the slide or writing down. Anything that's underlined is going to be important. A, we're going to have an activity. B, it's going to be on your test. Get it, got it? Yeah, get those phones out. Snap it. I wore my best today, so I look nice in the slide, you know?
Now you're just trying to show up for this minute.
I am. Oh, yes, ma'am. I am. Miss Coffey, let's go.
Old and decaying industrial base, textiles, railroad, steel. Outmoded equipment made some industries less competitive, and as a result, they were not making as much of a profit.
Yo.
Crisis in the farm sector. Farmers produced more than they were able to sell, especially after the end of World War I and the disappearance of markets that the war had opened to them.
Hold up right there. So if you're a farmer, you're growing crops, and you grow way too much. What is going to happen to those crops that you can't sell? It's not like I produced a bunch of pants or sweatshirts, and I can just throw them in some boxes and sell them, down the road. What happens to crops?
They died.
They die. They go bad. So the farmers used all their supplies and their money to grow these crops. What happens when half of them die and they don't get paid for it? Are they in the red now? Or are they in the green?
Right.
Yeah, they're out some money. Keep going, Ms. Coffey. Availability of easy credit.
Many people went into debt by buying goods on credit, but they were living beyond their means. Businesses encouraged Americans to pile up large consumer debts.
Time out. Credit. Big factor. Anyone in here have a credit card? I know you're young, but some of your mom and dads, it's actually a good thing to start building your credit early. As long as you pay it off at the end of the month, that looks good. Are you guys' credit scores back there all right? You've been paying that off?
Yeah.
Mom and dad's not looking at you going, what did you do? Whoa, Savannah. $800 at Target?
Can we just repause?
$800 at Target.
Just call me Mr. Nim.
What did you buy?
You just call
for-
me Savannah. I'm sorry.
Oh, Sophia,
Oh, wow.
Sophia, sorry. What did you buy?
You're losing your interest.
I know. What did you buy for $800 at Target? What'd you buy? What'd you buy?
A coffee maker.
A coffee maker for $800. So,
Yeah.
credit.
Must be some fancy.
Hey, I was gone for 2 weeks too, you know. Credit is a good thing, but it actually can be a bad thing as well, especially when you start putting a lot of things on credit. People were buying fridges, washer and dryers. Those were new things at the time that people really wanted. Radios. So they were putting everything on credit. Here, I'll put $3 down. Back in the 20s, $3 was actually a lot of money. And then I'll pay $3 a month until I get it paid off. Now, what happens when you lose your job to the credit? Jeremiah, you lose your job. You owe a lot of money. You can't pay. What happens?
I don't know.
They start taking your stuff. They'll send guys out to your house. They'll take that washer and dryer back. You can't pay your rent. They throw a padlock on that while you're not there and say, hey, bro, you're out. You can't live here anymore. They'll take your stuff. All right, can finish it up on unequal distribution.
Unequal distribution of income. There was too little money in the hands of working people who were the vast majority of consumers. In other words, consumers had less money to spend.
But yeah, there was too little money in the hands of the people that didn't really need it, and the people that needed it, they didn't have it. So the economy went dry. Moving on. Are we kind of seeing now how this is causing it? And in 2008, we'll go with 2008 real quick. Basically, people were getting loans for houses, and they were signing on these APRs that stated right now what an APR, annual percentage rate, is. That's what you're going to pay percentage-wise of interest to your loan. So say you have a house that's $100,000, a very cheap house. No houses are $100,000. And you have a 1.6. You're going to pay $1,060 a year in fees and APR to the bank. So what happened in 2008? These people bought a house for $100,000. Their APR was 1.6. Their annual payment, their monthly payment on the house was $1,300. Once that rate, which was not fixed, went up to 14%, their housing price was now $4,000 a month, in which they couldn't pay. So what happened to these people's houses? Foreclosure, which means the bank takes back the house. And that's what happened. 12 million people lost their houses. A lot of people lost their houses here too. So we're continuing on. Can you start for me? Yes, ma'am.
What are we supposed to write down from this side?
For this, maybe just take a picture of it. This is kind of just information. Hit it, brother.
Hoover spoke for most middle-class people. They thought the American dream of unlimited plenty was close to fulfillment. The huge industrial machine that had begun building up during the Civil War had reached fantastic heights of mass production. Assembly lines poured out products by the millions, while advertising stimulated the consumer to buy them.
Correct. So again, we're mass producing a bunch of stuff, cranking it out. Like Sony putting out those flat screen TVs, Ford cranking out those F-150s. But as we're gonna see soon, we're gonna have way too much of this stuff and no one to buy it. That is a problem. Continue.
From Privy, Icebox, and Buggy, the country moved almost overnight into the new era of bathrooms, electric refrigerators, and automobiles. Washing machines, vacuum cleaners, and telephones promised to make their life easier and more convenient. Homemade amusement gave way to radio and the movies. American businesses and American salesmanship had put the nation aboard an express train rushing toward permanent prosperity.
So it sounds good, right? We have all the stuff that we have now. We're getting vacuum cleaners, washing machines, you know, You can go potty in your house. How would you like to have to go to the bathroom, like outside, or like go into the hallway if you live in an apartment? It's gross. You don't want to share a bathroom with other people, that's nasty.
In the hallway.
So look, like life is becoming better, you know?
Hallway.
Like what?
In the hallway.
Like yeah, like here, like you know? Yeah, going to the bathroom at school, it's like the same thing. Except you didn't have your private one. Alright, Catherine, will you read for me, please?
Ooh, I cannot see that part.
You take a picture of that slide then.
Which one, right or left?
Go right.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
You're fine. Take your time. There's no rush.
Sorry, guys. Okay.
No rush.
In the 20s, a number of key basic industries barely made a profit. Railroads lost business to new forms of transportation, trucks, buses, and cars. Textile mills faced competition from foreign producers in Japan, India, China, and Latin America. Mining and lumbering expanded during World War I to supply needs and then faced a diminished demand for their goods during peacetime. Coal miners faced competition from new forms of energy, hydroelectric, fuel oil, and natural gas. Construction of new homes after 1925, new house construction declined, which had a spin-off on other industries. New houses required building materials, new furnishings, new equipments, new appliances, and it created jobs.
So all these industries that have been plentiful, just rocking and rolling during the 20s, towards the end are beginning to like slide off a little bit. Railroads were losing business because of what? What was new? Cars. Forward. Textiles mills. Now we are outsourcing our textiles to places like Japan, India, China. Now, today, if you were to like go look at the back of your shirt right now, more than likely, do you think it's gonna say made in America? Where's it gonna be say it was made at? China. Where else?
India.
India, Indonesia, Mexico. America does not, even to today's standards, does not hold a torch to these other industries in the world. But then it became a growing problem, even more so because we're not as global as we are today. So, everyone ever seen this picture? It's kind of a famous picture. The farmer, the old lady. I actually know a girl I work with that looks just like her. It's pretty funny.
Wow.
I know, she's ugly. It's alright. She's very nice though.
Damn.
Very nice though. Hey, if it walks like a duck, it's a duck, guys. I mean, it is what it is, you know? So, Maddie, can you start reading for me?
Farmers need a lift, perhaps more than any other part of economy. Agriculture suffered in the 1920s. During World War I, international demand for crops such as wheat and corn had soared, causing prices to rise. Farmers have planted more crops and taken out loans to buy land and equipment. After the war, demand for farm products fell and crop prices declined by 50% or more.
Thank you. So again, we had all this stuff. We produced all these plants and all these farms, corns, apples, whatever, farm. And then prices fell 50% or more. So the farmers paid, say, $1,000 for this one giant crop of corn, in which now they had too much of, and they could only sell for $500. So not only do they have rotting crops that they can't sell, they're in the hole $500. I just squeaked bad. Oh my gosh.
That was bad.
It was bad. Hey, it is. It was. To compensate for falling prices, farmers boosted production in the hope of selling more crops. So they're in the hole $500. Laughing at me, Catherine. So now their idea is, oh my God, we gotta grow more so that we can make our money back. But no one's buying it. So really, they were kind of backwards. And then thought. Let's go. Bye, lady. Lillian, can you read for me?
The top one.
Yeah. Foreclosures.
Foreclosure is the legal process that banks use to get back some of the money they loaned when a borrower can't repay the loan. During the 30s, there were thousands of foreclosures. The word foreclosure itself became a rally cry for political movement.
So people began to lose their houses. Now, if you're an adult, I know the worst thing that could happen to me like in my financial life, would be to lose my house. Cause you guys gotta admit, that's the most important thing in your life is your home. Your family, your home. These people were losing their homes and they're getting evicted, thrown out in the streets. Like if you live in a colder climate, like New York, the Midwest, you get thrown out in the middle of winter, there's a big possibility you could freeze, your family could freeze to death or die. So this was bad. Bad news, okay? Here's what often happened during the 20s. Many farmers borrowed money from banks to buy more land or new machinery. The farmers then pledged their assets as security on the loan. So they're pledging their stuff, their cars, their land, their homes. So if a farmer couldn't make the payments on a loan for the land, the bank could take back the asset, the land, and sell it back for their money. So basically the farmer's like, hey, I need the money, I'm putting up my house and my land, I'll pay you back. X amount of time happens, the farmer never pays it back, the bank comes a knocking, bye-bye, my land, you're out, get out, it's all mine. And this is what was happening on a mass scale. Millions of people losing everything. Not just their homes, their possessions. Basically they had the clothes on their back, that's it. Pretty harsh. Yes?
Isn't that similar to like being evicted?
Yeah, but not only that, they're like, okay, I gotta leave my house. Oh, let's take the fridge, we'll load up the wagon or the car. No, the fridge is mine too. That's owned by Sears. All right, well, at least let's get the car and go. No, the car's mine now too. That's owned by Ford. You defaulted on everything. Get out, walk, put some shoes on. The boots were made for walking, right? Many loans were written when land values and crop prices were high. After the stock market crashed, few people had the money to buy the land, and so land values plummeted. So when they took out the loan, they took out the loan for X amount up here, but when the market crashed, it was now worth this amount here. Again, are they in the red? Yeah, they just lost thousands. All right, shall we continue on? James, just the top part, please.
Farmers depend on towns to supply them with everything from machinery to groceries they can't raise themselves. Small towns in rural America depend on farmers for their very existence. The connection between agriculture and the small town was never more critical, all than during the Depression.
Okay, thank you. So small towns got their food from where? Small towns got their food from where? Catherine?
Stores.
At the farms.
Start.
And if the farms stopped producing the food, what do you think was gonna happen to these people in these small towns?
Farms.
Starve.
They're gonna starve. Exactly. So now, even people in these small towns that were just dependent, it was almost like a system where one side was dependent on one. It's like mountain climbing. When you're all roped together and you're climbing, one man falls, you all fall. This is what was happening. It was a domino effect of the economy that was affecting everybody. Bro, hold on right there for a second.